Start recording. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. This is going to be a good one because this is the actual listing presentation. So who has gone on a presentation with me before? I think you have. Trina has. I've gone on my dad's presentation, but ultimately every good listing agent has some sort of presentation. Some of them like to show up and just try to build rapport and then do a 5-10 minute presentation behind the scenes. I call that a lot of peacocking. Ours is more, we have a buyer focused system. Because at the end of the day, a seller only cares about one thing. Can you bring me a buyer? So our presentation really pushes on that aspect of it, that our job is to give maximum exposure. How to get your property out in the world is our job. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Does anybody, before we get started, does anybody have a listing presentation success story that they've gone on that they'd like to share? Do you have any presentation success stories?
Not since my last listing.
There you go. Trina and I went on a listing presentation. Was it Friday? Man, we worked on for probably 2 hours. We just kept digging and digging and digging. It was a for sale by owner, and ultimately they had in their head that they gave everybody the same opportunity. They were not going to make a decision on that spot, and so nothing we could say would get them. But at the end of it, she pulls us aside. The wife pulls me aside and says, "We'll be giving you a call. Like there's a good chance. We just need to talk, and then we'll be giving you a call." But man, we built rapport. We had trust. They were blown away. I think the wife wanted to sign. Would you agree? The husband.
She said somebody, family member's a realtor.
They did, but the husband does not want to work with family. They want to work outside. I think the communication, Trina did an amazing job with the communication. They're Russian, Czechoslovakia, Portuguese.
Same general area.
Yeah.
There was an accent. I was close.
She was good.
Trina pulled the comps aside and started going through the comps with the people. She took charge when we were in there for a good 15 minutes, just started going through comps, started debating with the husband and wife about price. At the end of it, I think she did an awesome job and kept it there. I think the rapport was there. I'm going to be surprised. She even said, "I'm going to take one of these business cards and throw it away." That was one of our competitors' business cards. Without us even acknowledging that, she said, "You know what? I don't even think that," because she could see the concern in our eyes while they're fiddling with business cards. Right. And there are about 3 of them there. And she goes, "Don't even worry about this. We'll take these and throw them away." And she just kept our business cards. So that was really cool. So that was a success story as far as I'm concerned. I know we weren't able to get the contract signed. Which ultimately you're always trying to get the contract signed, because if you don't, there's always going to be someone that follows up behind you and ends up getting the contract signed. So you're always pushing that. But at the end of the day, you can only do as much as you can. We left with great confidence, and she's doing follow-up now. And ultimately, I have a feeling it was a 1.6. That would be a great listing. So Trina, my hat's off to you, because 2 hours of just pushing, plug in, walk in the house, answering questions. That's even, she was like, "Is that a normal listing?" I said, "No, that was a long listing presentation."
Would this be your first listing? 1.6?
On average, listing presentations should take at an hour, maybe an hour 15. So I'll walk you through the ultimate walking it through, but hour and 15 at most. You might have 15 minutes of filling out contracts. So you're in, you're out within an hour and a half. But if they have a lot of questions, you're going to be there however long it takes to answer those questions and make them feel comfortable with hiring you. But you do have to ask for the business at the end of it. It's not the awkwardness of, here's a contract, are you going to sign this? It's great. So you ready to get started? Is there any reason why you don't want to hire me right now? Is there anything that I haven't covered that you don't want to hire me right now? And they'll give you their reasoning. She was like, "We told everybody that we weren't going to hire anybody on the spot. We were going to talk about it." And so it was a good 15, 20 minutes of just going over that. and then trying to give and take like little things. Tell you what, this is what we can do. If you're not ready to put your house on the market right now, we can start the paperwork. It just means that we won't put it on the MLS. I mean, we tried every angle to come across, and you win some, you lose some. So
That's not lost.
it's not lost. I really don't feel it's
And
lost.
he wants to cook with me, and he wants to fish with me, so
Yeah.
maybe someday.
Yeah, I know. I mean, your follow-up will end up winning the transaction. So I'm going to share the screen. If you ever need to find where the listing presentation is, it's going to be right here under the back end. And you click on listing presentation, and here's the edited version. So again, you don't have to do it exactly the way that this is a guideline to help you just get the basics. Ultimately, you want to go in, like Laura has her own listing presentation now. She's wrapping it up with her biking theme. And so a lot of it has biking visual things, and it says, I'll ride the extra mile for you, and yada, yada, yada. That's her personal listing presentation. All of the little topics that we talk about are all included in hers, but she went in and edited what she wants. And then this is where we're going to play in right now. So here they are. Now with this, in the training book, you're going to see the slicks. These are what I consider as the slicks. And then also the introduction, like how to talk about the slicks. And it'll actually say slick 1. So that's how they core when you're reading and training these through. So in the listing presentation right now, we are looking at, let me get this out of the way. Can everybody see that? Okay. So in the listing presentation, if you click on listing presentation, one says scripts and one says slicks. So they should be in your book as well. One should say slicks and one should say, okay. Okay, so the first one. Number 1, the introduction to this, it is a buyer-focused system. I know you have a lot of choices. So actually, I'm not going to read right off of this. I'm going to highlight some. When you walk into the house, you're going to meet, you're going to knock on the door, you're going to have your business card in hand, unless you know them. But like in this case, she had a phone conversation. Hey, Kristen, can you shut the front door? Thank you. Damn vape shop. Okay. You're gonna walk up. If you don't have a great, like they don't know you, you're gonna walk up, business card in hand, knock on the door. They're gonna answer the door. You're gonna hand them a business card. Hi, I'm Trina, Hubbell Real Estate. I talked with you on the phone. May I come in? If it's a very, very nice house, make sure you're polite and asking, would you like me to take your shoes off? Something along those lines is just etiquette. So you're going to see that they've cleaned their house for you. So make sure you acknowledge that. You know, mind if I take my shoes off? Do you mind if I enter? Thank you very much. I come inside. I typically bring my iPad. So in my iPad, this is my dad's listing presentation booklet. So I'll hand this around so you guys can see it. But it has all his slicks. It has his real estate license in it. And then it has examples of his marketing. It has examples, here's his slicks in here, and then it has all his little testimonial cards that he goes through, and he has a pattern of like how he talks about this. So I'll hand this around. Ultimately, you need something like this, or you need something like this, but you need something that you're bringing with you, something that's tangible that they can touch. So in mine, I have 2 things that go on. I have my interview, and I have Flowzilla. My interview is what I have ready to go when I walk to the door. So I typically have this in hand, I got my business card, I have my briefcase, hand my card, I say, great, we start our rapport, your house is beautiful. Would you mind selling me your house? You're gonna know your house better than I would. Can you take me through your house and talk to me about some of the favorite features that you have in your house? I need to get the feel of the amenities that you feel are important to you. Let them do that for you. So that's exactly, she said, where would you like to start? Okay, well, let's start in the kitchen. Well, then in my interview, I'm going to pull it up, and it's going to have sample questions for me, but ultimately I'm going to be taking notes. So we're in the kitchen, so talk to me about your appliances. Oh, these are upgraded, high energy, low energy efficient. Great, is that a granite countertop? Oh my God, that's beautiful. Oh, it looks like you're a wine person. Oh, you have a lot of wine. Do you grow your own wine? Do you grow your own grapes? We started a little conversation about that because literally the guy's house was full of wine. I mean, these guys were winos, so I knew to dial right in with wine, and we might have something that we relate. Ultimately, you're trying to find something that you relate to with them. So this is your part of the rapport building process right now. So you're walking the house, you're walking in the kitchen. Don't take anything for granted. If they have a cabinet, if they have a pantry, open the pantry. Look inside the pantry. They're critiquing you on how effective you are. And so if you just walk by, oh, pantry full, and they'll be like, that's my favorite part. I have all of my cooking stuff in there. Like, we built it out custom. It has all these cool cabinets. So you take the time to slow down and open it up. You don't need to open the stove up and like open cabinets up. But like doors, yes. If you're standing next to a door and it's closed, or you can ask them, is there anybody in the house that I should be opening doors? Or do you mind if I kind of look around? You're always asking permission to do that. Cool, so they're talking about your house, you're taking notes. Whether it's an iPad, a notepad, whatever, but you're taking notes. And don't feel weird if you have to stop. Hold on, okay, great. Okay, let's keep going. Don't try to stop listening while you're taking notes. Make sure they acknowledge that you're taking notes. They're gonna love that. They love that you're efficient. You go through the whole entire house. I typically start on the top. They work their way down. You go outside. You do a little tour around the outside. Then you come back in. You can ask them questions. So this is going to end up going down, and this is going to talk to you about what to ask them and what questions, where they're moving, what they should be moving to. You're building rapport and you're trying to get information. The more information you get, the better. Do you guys want me to actually walk through all of this, or do you think the way that I'm flowing right now works? Okay. Keep flowing.
I got
Okay.
a copy of the marketing proposal.
Yes. So what is it that you need to bring when you're on a listing presentation? Anybody want to throw some ideas out?
Marketing plan.
Marketing plan?
Examples.
Business cards?
Examples of your marketing.
Examples of marketing?
Filled out listing.
Boom, a listing agreement ready to go that's filled in with your commission. Because that way it's not having to be negotiable. It's on the contract. That's just standard. It's little things like that. All right, these are great little tools also. When you want to go, you typically you want to have your name badge on. You want to have your business cards ready to go. You're going to have a folder. And in that folder, you're going to have their tax records or their grant deed, basically from First AM. You're going to have a CMA. First AM. You're going to have,
It's not
that's
like
what it is.
time period.
It's First AM. And they're going to have a grant. You're going to have the proper documentation of who holds title, because they can have a discrepancy about you're in the CMA. So you're telling them about the house and it's 2,000 square feet based on the tax records. And they're showing that, no, it's 2,400. And right there, you're going to instantly create a debate, an argument about who's right and wrong. And at the end of the day, you can just go right back to, it's 24, wonderful. Then we just need to either update this, or I just need to disclose that first, the tax records show this, but per the seller, it's this. And you can move right past that argument of who's right and who's wrong. So you're going to have your listing presentation. That's your little booklet. You're going to have a questionnaire just to help you stay on point of what questions do you want to ask while you're trying to build rapport with the client. And that, again, can either be an app, it can be a notepad, but it's good to have these pre-written questions out, ready to go. You could actually send, it's called a pre-listing packet. And it's basically sending them a pre-listing packet with those questions. Everybody does it. Yeah, I think they're awesome. This goes in my pre-listing packet. This goes in. I don't talk to them about price, but I talk to them about what are the qualities, the amenities of their house. I send them my questionnaire. I send them this, and I send them a little resume of myself, and that goes in the mail every time. You could even add the First American, what to expect when opening an escrow. You're just kind of filling information in there.
David, do you send that US mail or do you email it? How do you deliver it?
I mail it.
Carry it?
If it's a really, really good one and I know that I have 3-4 days, I might even hand deliver. Hey, I just wanted to drop this off. I'm looking forward to our meeting on Thursday, blah, blah, blah. Anytime I have an opportunity to mail something, I mail it. And email is great, it's very efficient. But mail, they may not get it in time, so you have to be cautious about your time to make sure that they get it. A nice email follow-up that says, I put something in the mail for you. Please let me know when you receive it is a great follow-up, and it gives you another confirmation of I'm really looking forward to our meeting on Thursday. I put something in the mail, you should be getting it by Tuesday to be ready. Most of the time, you're trying not to book an appointment more than a week out. So ultimately all that has to come together. You need to have these packets ready to go so you can stick it in the mail the moment you hang up the phone after you set your appointment. If you don't have a good 2-3 days, then I would hand deliver it. And if that just doesn't work, then have this ready as an email and send it over as an email as well. Ultimately, get it over there is the point. So you got your questionnaire, you're talking to them about the questionnaire. You have your listing presentation ready to go. You have your, give me the 4 things that we needed again.
Marketing.
Thank you. Your marketing, your CMA, your listing presentation, your questionnaire. Okay, now you're ready. Okay. You've walked the house and built the report. You know the questions you want to answer or ask them. At the end of the whole walkthrough of the house, you need to stop them and say, great, I'd love to show you how I can sell this house for you and get top dollar. That's your conversion. That's your turn right there. I'd love to show you how I can sell this house and get you top dollar. Let's go ahead and take a seat and let me show you how to do that. Do not try to do a presentation standing up. Do not try to do a presentation where you're standing at the bar stool and you're looking across from each other. Take a seat at the kitchen table, pull it out. It's okay to clear your throat and be like, hey, you mind if I get some water? Or they're going to ask you, would you like some water? It's cool to take water. You get a little dry when you're talking for a whole hour. Be ready for that. So then you bust out your presentation. So slick 1. As we go through the marketing plan, so again, this is slick 1. Sellers need buyers, buyer-focused system versus a seller-focused system. So as we go through the marketing plan, you're going to notice just how much more we do than the average agent. In fact, there are 2 types of agents. They're ones that do the bare minimum. They're really good at the listing presentation, but then once they get the listing, they just do the bare minimum and they move on, and all they're doing is giving listing presentations. Or, they put it on a website and then they basically throw a sign in the yard and put it on the MLS. There are agents out there and there's agencies out there that's what they offer. So just know what we're offering is actually what I feel, what Hubbell offers should be the bare minimum is what I feel the standard should be. And then everything we do above that is our above and beyond. Every time you take a listing, there's always going to be 1 to 2 things that are important to that seller. And that's what you need to nail and go above and beyond for. So all the stuff you're talking about right here is like, this is everything. This is what I'm going to do for you. But then you're listening to the seller and they're talking about newspaper ads and they're talking about the Bay Area contacting, Bay Area or LA area. That's you dialing in on what's important to the seller and taking it above 1 step. Right there on the spot, making the decision, I'm going to do this for this client. And that's going to ultimately give you cherry on the top. So 2 types. Ultimately, we are very aggressive in the way that we market. So when you start competing with other brokerages, we will actually see that our marketing plan really does do max a lot of exposure. This is what I call a buyer-focused system. I'm not flowing, so I'm just going to go off to the slips. All right. So when I'm sitting down with them, I'm talking to them, and I'm going, this is what is important to you. As a seller, what do you need? And they're going to answer your question with, I need buyers. And you're like, you do. And so when I sit down, my presentation is to show you how I maximize the amount of buyers that view your house. My whole system is designed around trying to attract buyers to come to your house. Because at the end of the day, Mr. Seller, that's what you need. I'm all about a buyer-focused system. Write that down because you're using that for, how many times did I say buyer-focused system in that presentation? And I'm going to continue to say it throughout the whole presentation because I need to make sure they understand that my job is not to sell their house. My job is not to look at this wonderful cabinetry and feel the oak and this flow so nice and da-da-da. That is not what we do. We are marketing experts. Our job is to expose your property to the most amount of people as possible because we only need to get one. At the end of the day, when a buyer walks into a house, it is not you talking their ear off that sells them the house. It is them walking in and going, they get a feeling and they go, wow, this is it. And a good buyer's agent will be able to monitor that by going on a scale of 1 to 10 or some sort of monetary that says, if you're an 8, 9, 10, we should be writing an offer. If you're a 6, let's leave our business card and let's go to the next property. As a good buyer's agent, they're dialing them in going, all right, the last 4 homes, out of the 4 homes we've seen, what would you rank this home? What would you rank that home? What would you rank? Oh, great, you're a 9. Let's go back to the office and talk about writing an offer. Because a 9 means you love it enough, but there's 1 thing or 2 things that we could probably change, or can you vision yourself living there, but maybe the paint color is different. Cosmetic stuff that you can change. A 9 means they love the location, they love the flow of the house. They should be writing an offer. So ultimately, it is not our job that does that. When buyers walk in, you're obviously trying to pump the amenities and all the upgrades in the house and trying to show value in the property. But the buyer is smart enough to know this is either their house or it's not their house. So how do you choose the best company for you? Choosing the company that can get you the most exposure to the greatest number of buyers for your home. You go, well, why should I choose you? Well, let me show you how I expose your home to the greatest number of buyers on the market. Get right into it. We're one of the top producing independent companies on the Central Coast. I mean, this is fluff. Number 3 is fluff. This is you talking about you. This is you talking about the company. You obviously started here for a reason. You see something in what's going on. Or I don't know what the stats are and how fast we're growing. It really doesn't matter, but you can be proud behind, we've been in business for X amount of years. So Hubbell's been around for 13 years. We have a reputation of having high integrity and honesty. And obviously, if you've been in business this long, the community supports you and you're supporting the community. So that's where you can fluff number 3. You can talk about you, why you came on board with the company, why you believe that the core values of the company, which ultimately we need to put those on the wall somewhere and figure out what they are. I think we all have an idea of what our basic core values are. Honesty, integrity, trustworthy, hustling, putting the client's needs first. Those are very,
Company motto would be nice stuff for marketing purposes.
So I think that would come down to
Like,
our
we'll
core
help you,
values.
guide you home.
Tagline.
Tagline.
Has it been 13 years now?
Well, me and my dad have been in business 13 after that. 6 years have been actual Hubbell real estate, 2 years since we brokered out on our own. So use those statistics. But you guys obviously came on board for a reason. I think you're right on a tagline. I'd love to see core values and tagline by September. I mean, I pretty much have them in our head, but I'd love to have them on the wall. So we all dial in like, this is the company. Because ultimately, you guys are the company. We are the company. And so what we stand for, how we do business, that is the company.
There's one other quick thing to add.
Yeah.
One of the things that we'll go up against as a boutique brokerage is going against Hubbell bankers, Century 21. One of the things that works in your presentation is to say, we're a mom and pop local boutique company. A lot of people here in the Central Coast are really into the community. They will go to a specific car place that is non-corporate just because of that reason. So as a non-corporate franchise broker, we need to play up that aspect.
Yes, and then to tagline on top of that, I do follow up behind that and I say, look, I know what my competition is in the area. And when I get through this, I explain what I'm doing to compete with them on the same level. But ultimately I say, look, in corporate America, there's a lot of bureaucracy, and so maybe we need to structure something differently because your house is unique. Every property is unique. What's nice at an independent brokerage is that we can customize our marketing plan without getting approval to do that. You know, ultimately, I am the one approving it. It's small enough to where it's a one conversation and it's approved. Whereas at a certain franchise, there's a model that they have to follow. So they're in a box, we're able to think outside the box. I mean, that's how I go back and forth with that, is I think outside the box and we're able to offer that to our clients, the ones that, you know, every property is unique. Because at the end of the day, we are the ones making decisions. And as long as we stay in the guidelines of the BRE and that it's ethical, then by all means, go for it.
David, one thing I also use because I truly believe this, and that is when you have the boutique office and you want to make a change or do something, you don't have to get approval from 11 different offices or 17 different offices that we did in previous companies. So change is very difficult to create in the big, large corporate companies. Is there a benefit to being with them? I don't necessarily think so, because I don't think half of my agents can tell you where. They're just going to work with me. So I like the idea of saying we can do things with just an approval within our local office.
We can think outside the box.
Who hasn't read that pre-marketing?
Okay, so now we're getting in. Number 4 really starts the presentation. So everything from 1 to 4 is you just kind of fluff about the company, what you're about to do. Make sure you explain. My presentation today, I'm going to be able to explain how I'm going to be able to expose your house to the non-buyers. You're giving them the objection of what you're trying to accomplish. Number 4 is where it starts. This is where you start asking them questions like, where do you, now with my buyer focus system, obviously we need to expose your house to most buyers. Where do you think buyers are starting to look for real estate when they start their process? 99% of the time, people are going to respond to the internet. So it's kind of a leading question, because that's the truth. Like, there's statistics with the NAR. Every company is different with statistics, so I hate quoting statistics. I always question, how the heck are they getting these stupid statistics? Like, is it just a pool? So at the end of the day, I mean, this is what my dad had. I don't have this statistic on here. I just have that buyers start online. Buyers start online, period. Is anybody going to argue me that fact? Would you, everybody agree that everybody starts online, or, you know, Zillow, Realtor.com, like they have some sort of source website that they go to get their information? So can everybody agree that an online presence is probably the most important thing that we need to have? These are questions that I know the answer is this. And so when I'm asking them, I'm doing this. And they're agreeing with me. Because the more I can get them to say yes, the better. So that right there is a sales technique. You're asking questions that you are, it's a rhetorical question. You already know the answer to, and the answer is always, isn't that what rhetorical question means? Like, you don't really have to answer it because the answer is yes. Cool. Okay, so we're starting online. So why is it important that our online presence? Because that's where buyers are. And then I jump into knowing where to find the buyers is key to getting top dollar. So obviously, if they're all online, then we need to have an excellent presence online. Number 1 action after seeing a home online is driving by or visiting your home. Buyers driving the neighborhood and getting informed. Those are called the looky-loo buyers. Okay.
Do we actually create a standalone website, or are you just considering?
Yes.
So www.address.com.
Yes. So with that, when you take a listing, you're going to hire a company. And this is, ultimately, it's optional, but again, I find this as the basics, as the bottom line. You're going to be getting paid $10,000, $15,000, $30,000 commissions. You're going to pay a professional photographer. So in my listing presentation, that's the first thing I talk about is, if buyers are online, what we need to do is make sure that those buyers are able to view your property professionally, correctly, with the right lighting, ultimately by hiring a professional photographer. And this is where in your slide you can have really crappy photos versus more photos or really nice photos. There's 2 companies. There's Jeremy. I highly recommend Jeremy. You also have Kevin in the area. Bobby has his wife Tracy. Everybody has your own personal photographer. Whoever you hire needs to have a website, and in that website needs to have a drip campaign of statistics. How many people are going to that website to look at these photos? With the website, there should be school information, flyers, virtual tours. All this stuff is what we offer because we end up hiring a professional that has that. So if you have a question like, what is it that the photographer offers, meet with Jeremy, meet with, Tracy's in the mix of getting that taken care of, meet with Kevin to talk about Tour Factory. They're gonna run you anywhere from $200 to $400 to do this.
It's not something that's automatically done by the company.
No.
Yeah.
This is an agent responsibility. But with that, you should be getting your photography done. He will send you all the pictures and they're gorgeous. And then you're gonna ask for the virtual tour. I always do a virtual tour. If it's a beautiful property, if it's a piece of land, if it's something that an aerial photo would really highlight the location of the property and how close it is to the ocean, then ask for the upgrade and get the aerial photo as well. In that aerial photo, he can also do a video along with it that has music, and then it videos into each slideshow of it. These are all amenities in that package. So know your package before you go to the listing, because ultimately that's what you're going to talk about. Get Tour Factory's marketing material. Take that with you. One thing I've noticed though is that a lot of agents use Tour Factory, so it's not going to really show off you differently. If everybody's bringing the Tour Factory marketing brochure to their listing, you're going to start looking like everybody else. That is why I like Jeremy, is because he's something new and he was doing his service is, to what I feel, is very competitive.
He used
Should we
to,
make the website?
he used to work at Tour Factory, yes.
He has a
there's
software.
levels of Tour Factory, so whatever you say you're gonna do better be weird.
Yes. So if you say I did professional photography, do not put on the MLS a picture from your iPhone because you will get called out, you will be fired, and I can't protect you from that because it is blatant that you lied to the client, and I can't protect that. I won't even do business like that. I'll look at you and be like, looks like you're buying the upgraded package to get back in the good graces of your client because you lied to them and told them you were going to buy professional photography and you didn't. You can see the little black lines with an iPhone. In Bakersfield, there's pictures upside down. I mean, and this isn't just like a joke. This is me searching the MLS on a daily
Guy in the
routine.
mirror, bathroom mirror.
Yeah, exactly.
Upside down
Flash,
pictures,
flash.
not even the house. A picture of like something not even to do with the house. Like they had it in their photos and they just copied and pasted all of them and just grabbed the wrong picture. Don't be that agent. You have pride in what you do. When you put the pictures on the MLS, just know that that is the source, and it's very difficult to change the source once you do it. So once you put them on the MLS, within 24 hours, that stuff is pushed out into the world, and it's very difficult to go back and change it. So it's
You
best to
can't
get
get a
those.
violation for putting pictures that are not on there, like a picture of the ocean when you're nowhere near the ocean.
Yes. So Jeremy will be able to talk to you. Calvin will be able, your professional photographer will be able to talk to you, but make sure that your pictures are of the property or like the surrounding areas of the property.
I don't know if a lot of people understand you're not even supposed to have animals in or people.
Right.
In these photos. Think about
Put the
that.
toilet seat down.
Yeah, if you're snap on the photos.
Oh, you don't have to worry about that if you get the professional
You
photographer.
don't have to worry. Now, professional photography is an option. I have it in every single one of my listing presentations. I took a $90,000 mobile, professional photographer. I took a 1.6 professional photographer. I took a house that was down to the studs, professional photographer. Like, I don't even question it. I just do it because it's part of my listing presentation.
Actually, so a quick note. Still a lot of the pictures here in the Central Coast, even Tour Factory and everything, are actually really subpar. If you look at properties in Beverly Hills, Calabasas, Los Angeles, you'll see some real pictures of what's going on in bigger cities, and it makes all of our pictures look like poop. So, as a small company, if we can, for example, anytime there's a big screen TV in our living room or bedroom or anything like that, it's not just a black TV. They actually will Photoshop a scenic picture of something. Okay, so you're looking at something that looks at a better
It's called
home
digital staging.
Yeah, digital staging. So as a small boutique company, we can separate ourselves from other companies that have not started using one quick edit on Photoshop to add a picture of Monarch Dunes Golf Course on a TV on your screen.
If you guys don't know how to use Photoshop, you can download print.net. Print.net, it's a free editing software.
I talked to your
I
photographer
think it's
and have him edit
misleading,
it.
yeah. Don't Photoshop in a blue sky when it's overcast or green grass and then.
No, you're
dark
not
sky.
supposed to do that,
Yeah.
but if it's like a TV screen, have your photographer do it, don't start messing.
Just know that like there are going to be blips or the things that you're going to have to edit in a picture. If a for sale sign is in the picture, you cannot have that, so you have to edit that out. You always want to get your photographer out there before you either put the for sale sign up or make sure you tell the professional photographer, angle this on a front shot without getting my for sale sign. Okay, yeah.
Not to digress on this one too much, but there's a home for sale on the top of 4th.
Okay.
And they literally put all digital furniture and everything, so it's
Yes.
empty.
Yes.
That's okay?
That is 100% fine. It's
Yeah.
kind of a
As
new
long as
trend
you
right now
state that,
called
yeah.
digital marketing.
Yeah.
And you can state in there, this has been digitally staged. And again, everybody has their own personal preference. Everybody has an opinion on that. Are you misleading when they walk in and they're like, oh, what is all this beautiful furniture? I've tried it. I've had a client come back to me and say, you know, your pictures were wonderful. And I've had a client come back and say, yeah, I was really disappointed when I walked into the house.
Exactly.
So it can go both ways. At the end of the day,
So let's put your furniture in it. Let's go.
there you go.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I always put
Just
one.
like, when the builders have their projected, what it will look like when it's done.
That's what I did. Is I had the digital, and then
But
right
they
behind
put a
it, I had the
disclaimer
other
there.
one. And then because once I got that comment, I went, yeah, okay. So I put the digital, and then I put the blank one, and then I never had a complaint.
What your house could look like.
At the end of the day, my sellers loved it, and that's all I really cared about. They loved that I took the extra effort to digitally stage it because they knew their house needed it. So I'm really leaning on professional photography, the website. With the website, I pay extra to get the name rider that goes on the sign that says abcproperty.com. Why do I do this, Mr. and Mrs. Seller? I do this because as these buyers do drive-bys, because first they start online. So with these beautiful pictures, I'm able to express your guys' house online very clearly. You know, with the virtual tour, I can weed out people to where the ones that are coming and looking at your house are people that have seen your floor plan because of my pictures. There's things called Matterport out there that actually allow people to do a virtual walkthrough. Ultimately, by having this great representation online of your house, most buyers are very aware of what they're coming and looking at. And so now I have more serious buyers. That right there is a sales pitch. I took them to why is professional photography wonderful? It's because it weeds out the looky-loos to the serious buyers. People online late at night looking through, doing a virtual walkthrough. Doing a virtual walkthrough, they're able to come see your house, and when they do, they're not disappointed because it's what they expected. With that, on my website, on the capture, I try to get people to go to the website because then if they have questions, I'm able to register that data and get names and numbers. Why do you think I want names and numbers? So I can sell your house. So at the end of the day, I built this pipeline. And this is really how I'm sitting at my table and I'm doing this. Think of my system as a pipeline. This is the internet, and all that information is getting funneled down to my database. And from my database goes out to my team, and from my team, we are selling more house. That's a very powerful system. Do you see how that can work? And then, yes, so that is one source of business that I can do for you. It's the personal website, professional photography. This is so backwards for mine. It's difficult. All right, let me jump down. Messing up my flow. I got to go to mine first, and I'll find the slick. Okay, so professional photography. Then I go to the dedicated website. Then I talk about YouTube. Then I talk about a mailing campaign. So again, you can move these around any way you want, but I got to stay in habit of how I do mine.
What do you talk about YouTube?
So YouTube is just another tie into the professional photography that I say, oh, on this house, if it's nice enough, on this house, we're going to do a virtual tour. And on that virtual tour, I could do a video slide and put that on YouTube. if it's something that is interesting to you. So again, this is something the professional photographer can do, is create a video for you, and it's considered a virtual tour link as well. And so I really dial a lot into why is it important to hire a professional to do that, is because I want them to be able to see how your house really is. You know, and so these walkthroughs, this Matterport, the Matterport is basically like, you can literally go into the kitchen and they can grab their iPhone and they can do this. And they can look around inside a house. How powerful is that if it's 11 o'clock at night laying in your bed and you're like, oh, kitchen. I wonder if it has a patio. Okay, yeah, that's nice. Wow, look at that. Like, and that's what people do. You know, and that's neat if you're able to bring that to the table.
We can get a Matterport camera.
Probably not, just because I'd rather just have Calvin or.
Well, it was Jeremy saying, it's like you didn't necessarily
$4,000.
want a matter of
Again.
it's like you're gonna see like everything.
Everybody has an opinion on that. At the end of the day, what is going to impress the seller? And if the seller says it's important, then it's important. If the seller says, oh, that's cool, then I'm not going to spend the money on it. And I'll be like, again, these are all options that I can do for you. Because I always try to leave myself an out if I'm finding that they're not, that is, if they're not qualified. So the professional photographer was concerned that if you have all this exposure online, you're showing off things that necessarily could be defects and that can scare people away. At the end of the day, again, I'm not at the listing table to worry about buyers. This is all a sales pitch to the seller. What am I doing for the seller? And if the seller's impressed with it, that's all I care about. If I scare one buyer away, at the end of the day, I don't care because I got the listing and the seller likes me. And I will sell the property because eventually buyers will see it. And if there's a defect, there's a defect. So when you're sitting at that listing table, you're there for impressing the seller. And the more you do is going to impress that seller. And the more you have to offer and the more you come to the table with stuff, that's all that matters. Now you can use that if they start disagreeing with Matterport, then agree with them. Feel like, yeah, you know, I've used Matterport in the past, it's worked. If it's not something that you'd like, no problem. Because all these other systems that I have bring in buyers as well. So you have to be ready to transition at a moment's notice. I move on to, all right, I'll just jump down to, so number 7 talks about realtor.com. So now you talked about professional photography, then you jump into, now with this professional photography, I put it onto the MLS, but I need to get it out into the world. We all agree that the internet is the most important way to get your property out in the world. Well, with my system, I push it out to 900 websites. So I really emphasize I push it out to 900 websites. If you guys aren't familiar with it, it's called ListHub. You all have a ListHub account. Your ListHub account is what syndicates everything on the MLS when you get your listing to go out to all these big major companies. And if you ever want to question, well, how do they do the 900? You can actually log into your ListHub account, go to publications, and you can see all of the vendors. And what will happen is it'll show a vendor, and then in that vendor, it'll show sub-vendors. And in those sub-vendors, it'll show sub-vendors. So people always go, well, I only see 15 vendors on the list. You got to click on the link, and then in that link, there's other sub-vendors that from this source goes out to this source. From that source goes out to this source. Like it goes to Zillow, from Zillow it goes to Trulia. You know, so it's not just here's 900 websites. It's here's the mass amount, and then subsource, subsource, subsource.
So I don't have to go to Craigslist and create.
Craigslist, it does. Craigslist does not get automatically syndicated to it. So you do have to do certain things.
Yeah,
it does.
it does. That's fine.
Yeah, but it's not gonna push the listing.
No, it's-
This is, did we pull this right from Lissa?
Why not? Does it work into it?
I think there's a, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say it doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it doesn't.
Physically put out.
I think you physically, I think there's a spot in there that says Craigslist and it gives you the code, but ultimately you have to take it and post it onto Craigslist itself.
Don't most consumers really think that this is done by all of the real estate companies?
Yes.
That's what I've been
Because they all
hearing.
show this, they all show that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not really setting us apart.
No. Now, what it does do is this, the national or the international. So we pay extra to have it international as well. So make sure you push on that. whether they see this as, you still have to touch on it, because this is the way that we get the properties out.
I'm just saying, I think it's important in our wording to say, this is something, I mean, if you're saying, this is what we do that's special, and they met with Hal Swayze from Remax, and which we do this, but some of the agent, and they're saying we do this, you just discredited yourself because you're saying that we do something unique, it's this.
No, I don't, no, you don't wanna say it's unique,
That's what I'm
this is
saying.
how I get my listings
Right,
out.
exactly.
It goes out to
You
900.
have to say that.
And I think even I met this at Trina, is I even said, if an agent doesn't talk to you about this to me is basic.
Correct.
This to me is what
Yeah.
every agent should be doing
We're
for
not
you.
reinventing the wheel.
Correct.
It's just like, we all basically have the same marketing
But-
strategies. What you're selling is yourself as an agent.
But you don't know how they present it. So what
Yeah.
you're doing is you're selling your presentation. Because some agents may look at this as not that important, and so they don't even talk about it. And now that person doesn't even know it exists.
Because we can't compete against Century 21 doing their commercials and getting it in there. It's like, but we can compete
Here's how I can
You know,
compete with that.
as an agent, we don't want to say exactly that this is something special. We do need to say that this is
It's
standard.
one
This
of
is
the, yeah.
something-
it's
This is
of
one.
the-
Now, where I
one
take
of
it to the
things.
next level is we paid for international. That's something that is the step up. So then they go international, and that typically clients go international. I go, yeah, I'm over at UK, China. I paid extra on my licensing to be able to push international because that money's coming this direction. And that typically is like, huh, cool. And then I move on. It's again, you need to touch on this because again, it's basics, but this is how properties get pushed out into the world.
I think we need to be careful too about some of those things that are listed up there because they are manually done. They do not automatically go to New York Times, eBay, and all sorts of these things.
Well,
It does go to.
In subcategory, they do.
Because
Bottom
I
line,
had a client
there's
go
a-
look at some of these. That's the only reason I say that. So,
if it's on
I-
List Hub, then you can print the script, the slick from List Hub. And if it's on there, then you can hold them accountable for it not being there. They're the ones publishing 900 websites. They're the ones selling that feature. So ultimately, you can take their marketing material and add it to your listing. And if it's not, then we can bring it right to List Hub because they're the ones that are selling the
is this
service.
slick right here from List Hub? It is? Okay.
So at the end of the day, it's not us doing it, it's a third party that we've hired. And I think that's where my listing presentation comes in, is I don't talk about this is what I do. It's I've hired a company to do this. And this company pushes out to 900. Then I paid extra because again, I want them to see value. I paid extra to get the international on there as well. So not only am I pushing nationally here to 900, but I think I'm doing 60 websites international as well. And that's where they go, wow. And then I wrap it all up in a nice bow that says that's where I take everything basic and I try to go above. I go the extra step. I'm constantly trying to think outside the box. So I'm taking every single portion of my presentation and ending with I take it to the next level. Again, it's presentation. It might be standard across the board of what companies are doing, but how I present it makes the client go, wow, that's value. That's neat. Okay, he knows his stuff. Again, it's me selling me. This is where I tie in the funnel part of it. So as this stuff goes out into the world, first thing I hit on is Zillow. You guys ever heard of Zillow? And they go, oh yeah. I said, this is how I compete as a company with Zillow. What I've done is most people, again, this is me selling what I do differently on Zillow. Whether it works or not, it's irrelevant because it's on Zillow, buyers start on Zillow. But this is my spin of how I do Zillow. Everybody has a team. When you're on a Zillow ranking, it goes off of reviews. Well, what our company's done is we've combined all our reviews under one account. That way our positioning is better than an individual agent. So as I'm competing with franchises and buyers are looking online for agencies or looking online on properties, looking online for reviews on who they want to work with, we look like, as a collaborative group, better than the #1 agents in the area. Before you say that and you go on your presentation, you need to go on Zillow and check because they may call you out. And you need to be prepared to show them what I'm talking about. So if you go on Zillow and it says find agent, and type in Grover Beach, we're going to be on page 1. And we've been able to do that organically because we've combined all of our reviews and it just says Hubbell Real Estate page 1. Whereas all these other agents have to pay for it, we're showing up. If one agent is competing with a whole company, Eventually you can't. And we're going to surpass every single agent. Every time we close a property and we get a review in that territory, it puts us one level higher. So that is a sales pitch you can explain to the client that says, we are a team over at Hubbell. We combined all of our reviews, which gives us better placement on Zillow when people are looking for agents on Zillow on who to work with. Buyers go, oh, cool, that makes sense. Does that make sense? Oh, yeah. So an agent's got 13 reviews and we have 54 as a company. We're beating them. Most franchises don't compile all their stuff together. It's every agent for themselves. Over here, we're a team. And with that team, I have a team to support you because I have my transaction coordinator. I have a marketing person. I have a broker that's on site, that's here ready to answer questions. These are all things that you kind of can collaborate. You bring in the whole team in. The team aspect is really a good pitch because people know that there's more than just you to do this transaction. This one I have a great closing on. I say, yeah, everybody knows. So if you have a buyer and they're online and they want information about your house, how do you think realtor.com makes money? How do you think they make money? They go, well, I don't know. And I say, well, they charge agents for the leads. I say, so that little button next that says contact agent, when people click on that, where do you think that lead goes? Who do you think that goes to? Well, I don't know. And I said, it goes back to the company. And the company turns around and sells it to any Joe Schmo that wants to give them money for your lead about your house. Now, who do you think is going to be better at selling your house? Me, who's actually been in your home, or an agent down the street that's never actually seen your house that just has the pictures that I posted online? Because at the end of the day, I pay money to make sure that those leads get filtered to us. Because those leads coming to us means that I have the ability to sell your home and handle objection handling, whereas the agent that's never actually been in your house is going to receive those. So that is a huge benefit. Again, that's my pipeline of my filter. I want those leads coming down to my brokerage because we are going to do a better job at selling your house than anybody else because we've been here. You're telling me about the amenities in your house. I'm going to be able to portray that to a buyer because I have physically been here and I've seen how beautiful your house is. That right there was a sales pitch. That was a close on why the internet. I do better on the internet than other companies. That makes sense? So I brought this out, but then I've shown the difference of what I do. And ultimately, I let the perception run of, I do that, I have a filter. And so if they want to think I have that on 900 websites, by all means, but really I dial in on this website. This is the one, and so I clearly say, this is how I get leads from this company.